If you guys haven't checked out my video talking about the Eastern Conference playoffs, I'm just going to link it at the very end of this video. But, you know, screw the Eastern Conference, screw the Western Conference. Yeah, the Lakers are absolutely cooked. If y'all been hiding under a rock, well, let me put y'all up to speed. I've made multiple videos about the Lakers, especially in this stretch where we've just sucked. And we sucked in the last OKC game on Thursday night, I believe. I think it was the Thursday night, whatever. It was last week. So Luka Doncic went down with a hamstring injury, and currently Luka is back in Europe, or Slovenia, I should say, to get treatment for his hamstring to expedite the process, even though it is a bit risky, and I'm going to get into it later on in this video before I end it. And then Austin Reeves is going to be out indefinitely with a grade 2 oblique strain. And to top it all off, LeBron basically ducked the Oklahoma City Thunder because he knew he was going to be without Luka and Reeves. And he probably knew just him and Rui Hachimura and Luke Kennard and whatever the hell guys we put out there do not stand a chance against what Oklahoma City has. So Bron ruled himself out with a sore foot, and that was some, P-word stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say the explicit word. You guys know what I'm going to say. Whether the sore foot is a legit injury or not, that is besides the point. He could have just played through it, and okay, maybe let's say it is sore, you may re-aggravate it. At least, give your team a chance while you're out there, because a lot of people have said that, the Lakers will be fine as long as LeBron is out there. You know what I mean? At least with LeBron there, the Lakers will be able to stand firm. Maybe not win the game, but they could at least be sort of in it and maybe not get blown out by Oklahoma City. That unfortunately did not happen, and of course, Oklahoma City did this to us.
I'm not good. Wait. Didn't I tell you? You got a hard head, huh? Didn't I tell you every time you play against me to strap?
Yeah, Oklahoma City just absolutely belted the hell out of us. And it wasn't getting any prettier from there, because if you look at the freaking final stat line, oh boy, I wonder what our guys did, you know what I'm saying, to put up a fight against Oklahoma City. Hint, they did not. We got belted 123-87. Let's see our starting five. Drew Timme had 11 points, and I didn't even know Drew Timme was in the starting lineup. That's absolutely insane. He was a minus 26. I didn't watch Drew Timme's highlights that much, so fill me on what he did, and at least the good things he did or whatever. I know Drew Timme was a freaking Gonzaga legend, but running back NBA said he's just going to be another one of those legendary college players who really didn't pan out as an NBA player. Just like Trey Burke, just like Shabazz Napier, just like Frank Kaminsky. He could be a solid rotational player, I guess, but it's just like that's all really is Drew Timme's ceiling, a solid rotational player. There's a reason why he went undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. But enough about him. Rui Hachimura had 15 points, but unfortunately Rui was on minus 24. Jake LaRavia had 2 points. I don't know why Jake LaRavia is still on the roster. I mean, he's an okay defender, but for situations like this, and I'm going to make an off-season video, we should get freaking guys that can defend. Like, I'm thinking of a Davion Mitchell. Make a trade for him. See if you could steal Benedict Mathurin from the Clippers. See if you could snag Miles Turner from the Bucks. Anything but whatever the hell this roster is. Luke Kennard had 10 points and 9 assists. I mean, I guess he had an okay game for what it's worth, but unfortunately he was a minus 23. And my starting center, DeAndre Ayton, had 3 points and 3 rebounds in 22 and a half minutes. Again, get this dude off my team. Guy's a waste of a height. Oh my goodness. This guy is an absolute clown, bruh. And he had the nerve to compare himself to Clint Capella, or to say that, oh, well, they trying to use me like Clint Capella. I ain't no Clint Capella. Yeah, okay, if you want to be an 18-10 guy that you were in Phoenix, let me tell you, DA, you weren't even good at that. But I digress. Adu Thiero came off the bench for 20 minutes. He gave me 10 points. I haven't watched Adu Thiero much this whole entire season, but from what I heard, we actually drafted a really good athletic forward. 6'7", 220. Don't give me the 6'7" jokes, please. But I don't know. I haven't watched too much Adu Thiero. I hope we give him more playing time going forward. Not necessarily this year, but going forward with the Luka AR era. I hope we give him some more playing time. Vanderbilt only had 5 or 4.5 minutes of playing time. We're going to get into that little exchange he had with JJ Redick. I'm going to play the full clip for y'all that I saw on Instagram. Bronny in 22 minutes had 4 points. I'm honestly starting to feel bad for him because he's literally getting shoehorned out there by JJ. And I still have hope for him, I guess, as crazy as it sounds, because I still think he can be an okay NBA player, but dude's getting embarrassed out there. And I don't know if that says a lot more about LeBron, Bronny, or JJ Redick. Y'all let me know in the comments. Kobe Buffkin, who I somehow remember from the Atlanta Hawks. He was basically Trae Young's cheerleader when the Hawks still had Trae. He had 9 points in 18 minutes. I guess better than Ayton, but whatever. Max Kleber had 2 points in 13 minutes. Absolute scrub. I don't know why the hell we still have him and DA. Don't connect. We surprisingly still have him. And he only scored 5 points in 18 minutes. And give the kid a change of scenery, because he hasn't been the same player ever since that vetoed Mark Williams trade. This Mannion guy, I don't even know who the hell this is. Chris Mannion. Did we just pick him up from LA Fitness or something? Apparently he attended Vanderbilt University. Haha, get it? Because we have Jared Vanderbilt. Haha, lol. And then Nick Smith Jr. had 11 points. So, all in all, our best plus minus was freaking Kobe Buffkin, and his plus minus was 0. Everyone else was a negative. Bronny was negative 25. Aduthier was a negative 15. Luke Kennard minus 23, like I said. Jake LaRavia minus 19. Yeah, this was just an overall bad night. Now let's look at the Oklahoma City side of things. SGA did what he does best, scored 25 points in 3 quarters. Light work. Chet Holmgren had 15 and 10. Hartenstein didn't need to do much. AJ Mitchell had 9. Lou Dort had 8. Isaiah Joe had 18 points. Of course, he had to torch us again because he torched us the last time we played him. Jared McCain, who the Sixers, for some reason, still let go because they didn't want to hit the luxury tax, not knowing they paid Paul George $50 million to be basically an Aaron Nesmith, or what Tobias Harris is for the Pistons. Jared McCain had 15 points. Cool. So basically, this was just a scrimmage game for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't even take us seriously. Like, yeah, we played close in the first half or what have you. We were down 17, but the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they just decided to put BTA, belt to ass, on the Lake Show, man. Ugh. And even after all that, no Karl Anthony Towns, it's still amazing how the lowest we could drop to is the number 5 seed, which I honestly thought we would drop to the 6th seed because of Minnesota potentially gaining steam because of how light their schedule is. But the lowest we could drop to is the 5th seed, which I guess is not the worst thing in the world. But still, if we play Houston in the first round and there's no AR and no Luka, that series is a done deal despite what Houston has been doing and not doing this whole entire year, if that makes sense. I made my video talking about the Houston Rockets potentially imploding, but it looks like they have turned their season around as well. Oh, but it ain't going to stop there, fellas. JJ Redick's press conference after the loss last night versus Oklahoma City was one to watch because he basically said our whole entire team sucks. Y'all don't believe me? Check this clip out.
I just called the early timeout because Rui didn't do his job, and so took him out of the game. We've got to find 9 guys that are like all in on us fighting.
What led to the exchange between you and Jared Vanderbilt early on in the second quarter?
Just a confluence of things. Again, it's not again nothing personal with him. About normal stuff from my end. I think for all of us, being undermanned and we've got to scrap and claw. We've got to all be on the same page. We got to be great teammates. We got to all play hard. Called a timeout to get him out of the game, and he reacted. But again, normal interaction for me.
What was he not doing in his shift then?
What was he not doing?
Yeah, to take him out. Like what?
Again, it was a confluence of things, Dan.
JJ, you mentioned on Saturday, the practice before the Dallas game, that you're going to ask DeAndre to do some different things. What are those things, and how do you think he's?
Yeah, he's had trouble catching the ball. So we've ran a bunch of plays for him. He's just had trouble catching the ball, and I don't know if that's the passing or if it's him trying to get position. He hasn't been able to catch the ball.
Now, I know some of y'all are going to say, well, JJ Redick is being a little too bullish on his players, and he's being a little too combative or what have you, and he's kind of looking like a hypocrite because remember when he was on First Take, he was talking about Doc Rivers not holding players or not holding himself accountable with what happened or didn't happen on those Clippers teams, those Sixers teams, Bucks teams, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing about JJ, though. I don't blame him for being bullish on our guys last night if that's the type of effort we're going to show. Now, was there some things that JJ didn't do well in that game? Sure. But he's coaching the best to the best of his ability, but the problem is when you do not have a center that can rebound or do anything for that matter, and our guys are essentially useless without Luka, LeBron, or AR, then why the hell wouldn't you call him out? And here's the problem with our team. What this stretch of Laker basketball has shown me from the Oklahoma City game, even the Pistons game in truth, when we played the Pistons without Cade, but this last week and a half has told me that even if Luka, LeBron, and AR are playing, this team ain't ready to win the championship. Because number one, we suck at defense. Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt have to cover so much ground because DeAndre Ayton is the most useless freaking center in the NBA, and we don't have athletic 3-and-D wings who are dogs and that can defend. And offensively, Luka, LeBron, and AR have to cover so much ground because of what we have or don't have, per se, on offense. And whenever we don't have either of those guys on the floor, and even in some cases, one of those guys on the floor, even with LeBron James, we look like absolute scrubs out there. We look no better than the Sacramento Kings, the Washington Wizards, and the Brooklyn Nets for that matter. And let me put this into context on why that is a problem. Do you see what the Pistons have been doing without Cade, even though he's supposed to return today? Or if y'all watching on tomorrow, he returned Wednesday. Point is, did y'all see what the Pistons did without Cade? I thought they were going to get exposed because of how the offense ran through primarily Cade. But you want to know why they've had a really good record even without Cade Cunningham in the lineup? Is because they have guys like Dennis Jenkins who lit up the scoreboard, and he's a good defender, and he's a good playmaker too. I think he averaged like 20 a game when he's in the starting lineup, which is crazy. Tobias Harris is solid. Duncan Robinson can shoot. Karis LeVert has proven to be a decent shot creator off the bench. He's been proving me wrong. Kevin Huerter's been proving me wrong. Jalen Duren is an absolute beast, and he's a first-time All-Star for a reason. Basically, they have a lot of depth. Why Oklahoma City has fared well without SGA and Jalen J-Dub Williams is because they have guys like AJ Mitchell. They have guys like Chet Holmgren. Jared McCain, as I just mentioned, he's going to be huge off the Oklahoma City bench after what Philadelphia did to him, which basically they did him dirty. The Boston Celtics, another example. They have looked really good without Tatum. They didn't have Tatum up until March. Tatum returned from his Achilles tear that he had suffered in the playoffs last year versus New York. But with the play of Jaylen Brown, and at the time Anthony Simons, who pulled his way off the Boston bench, Derek White looked great. Peyton Pritchard is having a career year. Baylor Schneiderman is, or Shireman, I should say, he's a solid 3-and-D guy. The Boston Celtics, without their best guys, or their best guy in Tatum, still look like an absolute world beater, and they were still beating up on teams, and they were in games against a lot of Eastern and Western Conference contenders too, and even now, with Tatum back. Yes, the Lakers were good for a month, but unfortunately, and I said this about the Clippers, yes, the Lakers are a good team, but here's the thing. Good teams are not winning you championships. They may win you some playoff games, and maybe if you're lucky, win you a series. But this team is just a good team. We're in there with teams like the Philadelphia 76ers and the LA Clippers even now. You want to know who are the better teams? The Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the New York Knicks, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you want to know who are the best teams? The Oklahoma City Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Denver Nuggets, Detroit Pistons, and the Boston Celtics. Those are the best teams, and those would be my top 5 picks to win it all come June. It's amazing how a week and a half ago, bruh, I was actually thinking about making a video about the Lakers are proving me wrong and they're proving to me that they're contenders. And then the Oklahoma City game happened, the Luka injury happened, the Austin Reeves injury happened, and now we are just slipping and sliding potentially our way to Cancun at this point, because I don't see us being Houston without Reeves or Luka or both, you know what I mean? But I digress. And say we do get out of the first round, we're going to have to face Oklahoma City in the second round, and they're going to run us off the floor. Now, let me touch on Luka Doncic potentially coming back early and arguably prematurely with his hamstring in the playoffs. this could be a catch-22 because, yeah, we need Luka for the playoffs if we want to do something, at least in the first round. But you don't want to risk Luka injuring his hamstring even more, you know what I mean? And if you rush him back too soon and the hamstring is, it's not treated right, or it's just like it's numbed to the point where he can't feel or he won't feel it for like a game or two, chances are he's going to tear it even more in a critical playoff game. Look at Tyrese Halliburton, for example. Tyrese strained his calf in Game 5 of the finals last year, and more than likely he did get the same type of treatment that Luka got. With peptides, a cortisol shot, or cortisone shot, whatever you call it. And he looked fine in Game 6, and he looked okay in the first 7 minutes of Game 7 in Oklahoma City, and when push came to shove, Halliburton blew his Achilles out. While Luka's injury is more so of a hamstring type of issue, I don't want Luka, or at least in truth, none of us Laker fans want that for Luka as well. Tyrese Halliburton should be a cautionary tale with cases like this. But yeah, all in all, I'm still rooting for my team, even if we're absolute dog water. But yeah, the Lakers stink, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, what do y'all think? Playoffs coming soon. Y'all know the shizzle my nizzle. That's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.